Flash games! They're dead now. I think I probably played more Flash games when I was little than I was healthy for a sane person. I mean, I probably learned less about geometry in class than I did playing 8-ball pool. Okay, that's kind of a lie. I always just hit it as hard as possible. Because if you hit it harder, the ball moves farther, and that's all my tiny monkey brain could really understand at that point. Point is, when I heard Adobe was shutting down support for Flash at the end of 2020, it kind of hit hard. Very clearly not just for me, because for several days it seemed like it was all people could complain about. And on the internet, that's kind of a big deal. Over time, though, it became pretty clear that Adobe wasn't going to budge on abandoning their child, so on December 28th of last year I decided to log on one last time to pay respects. Unsurprisingly, most games really stood the test of time, mostly due to their simple nature and easy to understand controls, not to mention the sort of natural selection that took place when dozens of games were being created each day. But out of all the pizzerias, the tower defenses, whatever, and literally every piece of gold Nitro made, the one I remembered most fondly went by the name of Commando 2. It's a simple game, one where you control a blue anime boy and his quest to kill as many racial stereotypes as possible. It's definitely one of the more polished Flash games, but I don't want to get into too much detail and I'll explain why later. All you need to know is that I ended up leaving the site and the night really wanting to play some more. So I scoured the internet, going through page of Google, looking for a way to play it again once the deadline had passed, time ticking away as January 1st started fast approaching, but still, no luck. Nah, just kidding, I found it in like 5 seconds. Power of Google, huh? Created in early 2018, Blue Maxima created Flashpoint as a way to try and outrun the end of Flash, and I would say they've done quite the good job, saving over 90,000 games and 10,000 animations. So a couple weeks into 2021, I booted it up, hopped on Commando 2, and stopped. You see, I had made a revelation for something that could change the course of human history, nay, understanding itself, and it had always been right in front of me. You see, this was Commando 2. Okay, so I definitely thought of this before, but it was like one of those straight-to-DVD Disney sequels. You don't really notice their existence, and when you do, you're like, oh, okay, and then you go on with your day. Anyways, this led me to go see if there was other Commando lore I had missed, and in fact, other than a couple spin-offs, the series was in large a trilogy. And so, given the allure of playing a trilogy so full of nostalgia for me, I came up with possibly the worst idea of all time. Why don't I try the first game? And despite that question normally being rhetorical, I found the answer once I started playing.
What am I supposed to do here?
It's because it sucks.
Easy?
It really sucks. First of all, the game barely even starts right. Like, you want to go in full screen mode? Nope, too bad, it's a puzzle now. Want to retry? Restart the game. Suck it. Also, here's a random tutorial page. Finally, in the game, you can only shoot in 3 directions: forward, up, and down for some reason. Only when you're jumping? What am I trying to shoot at? What the hell? The only reason I would do that would be put this goddamn game down there. Oh, you found a new weapon. That's great, because it's the only one you have now, so if you want to use your last gun because it's better for the next part, Speaking of which, the damage scaling on the guns is the worst of all time, ranging from 4 hits to blow up a goddamn tank to a full 2 minutes of shooting, which you have to use your pistol like, just die. Where are these people coming from? What is that? Okay, I might have went a bit overboard there. Let's start from the beginning. The game starts abruptly with our guy driving into a war-torn area, jumping out of his truck right before it explodes, as all good American vehicles should do. Now I know I just ranted for a bit about the BS in this game, but the early section is quite easy, albeit a bit taxing on the hands given the guns are not automatic, meaning you have to click for every single shot. However, as I passed the rockfall sign, I would realize the seas was but a ruse, a twist in this M. Night Shyamalan ding-dong film, when I made one incorrect input.
Come on. No, wait. Wait, what?
You see, at the beginning, I was led to believe that the men I was fighting were the enemy, but that could have not been farther from the truth. Hell, they barely do more damage than a toddler punching your leg. However, a mere fall from any distance would immediately kill me if there was no ground in the game window, dealing the damage of 1,000 men at once and taking one of my precious 3 lives, even if the floor was only 2 pixels out of frame. No, I would soon find out that the real, reoccurring enemy of the game was nature itself. I ended up failing the rockfall section a couple more times due to the speed and control you need to have in a game where neither of those exist. However, through doing this, I managed to learn 3 lessons in overpoweredness. Just like Ike here, the enemies could only shoot forward, meaning most bullets wouldn't even hit me if I just went down a little bit. Then I could knife them, a one-hit kill that came out so fast that Smash players would be begging to have it nerfed, and for the bigger enemies, let's just say a little bomb spam did the job. Once I finally beat the rockfall section, the rest of this mission was quite simple. Despite throwing enemies, planes, tanks, and paratrooping rocketeers at me, there simply were not enough to outmatch the tricks I had up my sleeve. After a while of putting up with this, I got a little reward and got to take a small break with boat time!
What?
Yeah!
What's that?
Boy!
What's happening? Help me.
But it ended as abruptly as it started, and before I knew it, I was face to face with the strongest human enemies the game had to offer, with a design completely unique to those I'd faced so far. These guys were red. They had a bit more health than the normal enemy, but since I was up here and they were down there, something higher. Anyways, past them, I never died once, ever at all, and completed the first of 4 missions in Commando 1 with a very anticlimactic battle against Big Shooty McShoot.
This is fun.
Every great shooter needs at least one stealth mission, and Commando is no exception, letting you know right away with the absolute sneakiest of music.
Ooh, sneaky.
The objective of this first section is quite simple. Don't get caught. Which is impossible.
Oh, no.
You can't. How do you pass? You can't pass it. You can't pass it. But it's okay, because all you gotta do is shoot the alarms, and the game turns into a complete rip-off of Metal Gear Solid. Then you got a little bounty here, a little vehicular manslaughter there, and a couple landmines sprinkled about, and you're ready to enter the factory. Which, you know, I believe was created as a metaphor for how far we've come as a species, capable of bending nature to our will and using it to further advance our understanding of the universe itself. Yet it also shows how there's still so much we don't know, like how the hell I'm supposed to get over this treadmill. I don't know, man. I try and jump over it and I get stuck and I die, and then I try to run on it, but then it goes faster than Usain Bolt, so I die. But sometimes that doesn't happen, but I'm too far back and I die, and I die, and I... Huh? Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so apparently this game was made in the Stone Ages, because every time you die, you have to restart the whole goddamn thing. This sure sounds like a fun mechanic that certainly won't be the bane of my existence for several days. Yay! Anyways, I kinda eventually just wiggled my way through it, and from that point on, other than giving the working class PTSD...
Guys, there's a wall.
There really isn't much left to this level. Like, there's some tanks and, this thing? I really don't have time for this. This game is set in 1940. We're given an upgrade at the start of Mission 3 in the form of a plane. At least it seems like one at first, until you realize that the gun uses the exact same keys as flying the same thing. After the dogfight's done, you enter the church and... okay, I'm gonna be honest, I barely remember this mission. I don't know, man, looking back through the video, it's not bad. On your left, you'll see a rope that defies the laws of physics and hates you, and on your right, you'll see that enemies do start to get a bit harder in the form of planes that drop bombs every nanosecond, which wouldn't be a problem if, you know, it wasn't for all of this. But honestly, ironically, I think the main reason was that there was no major random BS that pissed me off enough to become core memory, or it might have been the fact that the boss fight after the giant mecha weeb in Mission 2 was a slightly larger it can't hit you. So, with that out of the way, we can finally move on to the finale of the game. Mission 4. Mission 4. Let's talk about Mission 4. You see, Mission 4 is like if you took Mission 1, 2, and 3, and then some guy kicked down the door and beat you to a pulp before you finished the metaphor. It's a little bitch. Like, look at this. The mission is as long as the others combined. Like, this is the amount of deaths I had before reaching 4, and this is after. That's at least 6. It's so broken that each area has so much BS and garbage that I can make a whole section of this video for each part. So, yeah. Let's do that. This section is aptly named due to the fact that after a stupid amount of time and effort, I realized that the best option for it is just to take out your brain, put it down, give it a little pat, and charge straight through with no regard for personal safety. Oh, but you're still alive. Good. Hopefully you're not about to die or anything, because you got a big old bridge to cross if you can. Ignore the unreactable plane, so here, have some health.
Oh my god, thank you.
Hey, remember that plane that you took in Mission 3?
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, it's back in, worse than ever.
I still have no idea what I'm doing.
Trying to shoot open this hatch and also destroy the missiles behind you is kind of like throwing up. That's it, that's the joke, that's all you get. God damn it! Honestly, this part isn't even that hard. The only problem is that you can't get any health until you reach the elevator, which once again, after the planes, you desperately need. But anyways, if you can clear out the first bit of enemies, then there's only a couple more and you should be good, like you're saying. And finally, for the last challenge before the final boss, Nature and the German soldiers teamed up to create 8 pixel-perfect jumps. Now, normally with a little practice, the jumps would be easy, but usually by this point I was out of lives, which meant that every missed frame, every late reaction, every failed attempt would end in me having to restart the whole game from square one. Jump too late? Restart. Stray missile? Restart. Not a trapeze artist? Restart. The same cycle going on and being forced to play this game over and over and over and over and over. Oh, I made it. After escaping from bullet hell, bringing down all of the planes, and making those stupid jumps, I finally made it. And so with my head held high, I entered the boss room, ready to take on anybody who was standing between me and going to bed. I was determined. I was ready. I was... dead.
Oh no. What? What the?
Okay, so first, this stupid little flash game takes my time, and then my patience, and after that my anger, but now it's finally taking my goddamn metaphors, because no, of course the real enemy of the game isn't the environment past Eden. No, obviously, it's a giant fucking German tank, you stupid idiot. God! Okay, so it turns out I still have 1 life left. Yes, on the one attempt I made it to the end, I managed to smuggle in 1 extra life. But honestly, it didn't even feel like it mattered. I'd gotten slapped just 5 minutes ago, and the fight had barely even started. But thinking about the alternative wasn't very enticing, and hey, this time was a bit different. I got to start with full health. So, I decided to give it 1 last shot. The battle started out well, and I defeated the hands quite easily, as now that I knew what they did, they were quite predictable. I did make a major mistake in this section, however, by shooting what I believed to be the enemy's health bars, but were in fact resources. For me. Whoop. Now that I'd caught these hands, the next phase was 1v1 with the can in the middle. Something that should have been simple enough, but given my lack of knowledge of the enemy, the sheer firing rate of the bullets, and its uncanny ability to react to my movements in such an unpolished game, I did take quite a bit of damage here, and had to use the last of my resources. I was also starting to get a bit anxious, because all the other boss fights in the game took less than 30 seconds, whereas I had been going at this guy for almost 3 minutes. And just as I thought that, the monkey's paw came down, and the third and final phase started. Now, along with the heat-seeking cannon, rows upon rows of bombs began raining down upon me. They weren't impossible to avoid, and by this point I had gotten the timing down of the cannon, so all I had to do was keep moving. And moving. And moving. And slowly but surely, I took on hit after hit, with each consecutive one bringing me more and more panic, and at about 4 minutes into the battle, I was on my last legs. And after all this time, all my trials, fails, and effort to get here were about to be for nothing. This was the end.
There's no way. There's no freaking way.
Throughout my entire journey in this game, I have been victim to the stupidest, most mind-numbingly awful glitches and design choices known to man. I had been slammed into the air, clicked so hard I created a new form of energy, and gotten shot more times than a man could dream of counting. But that was no more! the game had decided to throw one last trick at me, but this time it had backfired. For once, I had outsmarted the shitty Flash game trash, and it had panicked, dropping the win, and I scooped it out right before her. I had bested this game, and all I had left to do was mash my way to the finish line. And yeah, maybe I just made this video because I got pissed like crazy in one night. And yeah, maybe I didn't actually win on the second attempt and waited 8 months till yesterday to exact my own. It didn't matter. I stood victorious, and I never had to look at this goddamn game ever again. I was done.
Yes! Let's go. Finally.
And then I remembered it was a trilogy.
God damn it!
Hey, did you like whatever that was? Well, if you did, it really mean a lot to me if you subbed. Shockingly, I'm not getting anything out of this myself, and I don't really know how much more abuse my graphics card can take. So, yeah, like, share with your mom. I don't know, man. I gotta head out now. See ya.